This is the brief on Liverpool's massive managerial shakeup. We're unpacking exactly why they abandoned Arne Slot's project after a disastrous, record £450 million spending spree, turning instead to Andoni Iraola to resurrect their intense, heavy metal football identity. First, we gotta look at their incredible decline and spending failure. Despite winning the 2024-25 title, Liverpool plummeted to 5th place in 2025-26 with a mere 60 points. That is a massive 24-point drop. Huge signings like Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz really struggled to shine, while Hugo Ekitike suffered a major Achilles injury. Honestly, how does a team spend nearly £500 million just to get 24 points worse? Well, this expensive collapse led management right to the guy who almost caught them. Second, we have their shift to Iraola. He led a much cheaper Bournemouth squad to 6th place, finishing literally just 3 points behind Liverpool. He's coming in to replace Slot's slow, methodical play with aggressive, direct, and vertical high-pressing energy to finally wake up this underperforming squad. But Iraola doesn't just tell his players to run blindly. Finally, let's look at his calculated tactical trap, the trigger press. The team sets up zonally, completely blocking the center of the pitch. The striker forces the opposition out wide. Think of the touchline like a Venus flytrap. Iraola tempts you to pass it out wide, and the second you do, snap. The whole team swarms you. This exact system led to a league-high 48 ball recoveries per 90 minutes. Ultimately, Liverpool is betting that Iraola's relentless energy and touchline traps can instantly transform their expensive, disjointed squad back into ruthless title contenders.
Welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. So our mission today is we're unpacking a whole stack of sports journalism and tactical blogs to really explain Andoni Iraola's tactical revolution at Liverpool.
Yeah, and specifically we're comparing his, super intense pressing style to what Arne Slot did last season.
Right, because Arne Slot, he built this highly methodical championship-winning machine in that 2024-2025 season. But then just a year later, despite a squad with, £450 million in new signings?
Yeah, a massive financial investment.
Exactly. They just inexplicably plummeted to this deeply disappointing fifth place. Opponents figured out how to frustrate their possession game, which basically paved the way for Iraola and this massive stylistic overhaul.
It's wild, honestly, to understand just how drastic this tactical shift under Iraola really is. You have to look at their conflicting philosophies. Slot wanted his players to be a boa constrictor,
Slowly squeezing the life out of the game.
Right, through patient, controlled possession.
Okay, let's unpack this. So if Slot's system was like a patient, methodical game of chess,
yeah,
then Iraola's is just a high-speed sprint, heavy metal kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. Paul Ince actually praised it for bringing back that heavy metal intensity. Slot literally instructed his players to rein in their natural pressing instincts just to keep their defensive shape.
Wow.
But Iraola, he demands relentless, immediate pressure.
And the numbers from last season highlight that contrast perfectly, don't they?
Oh, for sure. If you look at the 2025-2026 season, Iraola's Bournemouth vastly outperformed Slot's Liverpool in some key areas.
Wait, let me guess. Duels and tackles.
You got it. Bournemouth won 1,957 duels compared to Liverpool's 1,761.
That's a huge jump.
And they made an astonishing 654 tackles, while Liverpool only managed 494.
Wait, 654 tackles? That honestly sounds less like a tactical masterstroke and more like, a team just desperately chasing shadows because they can't keep the ball.
It does sound a bit frantic, yeah.
If you were constantly sprinting at the opponent, one missed tackle and your defense is completely exposed.
Well, it looks chaotic, sure, but it's actually this highly orchestrated mechanism. They call it a trigger trap.
A trigger trap. Okay, how does that work?
So they line up in a standard 4-2-3-1 shape, right? But initially, they just defend zonally. They aren't tracking individual players yet.
Right.
They're just guarding specific spaces in the center of the pitch, practically daring the opponent to pass it out wide.
So they're giving the opposing center backs a false sense of security.
Exactly. And then the trap snaps shut. The striker makes this curved run, deliberately cutting off the passing lane back into the center.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And that forces the defender to play the ball out to their fullback on the touchline. That wide pass is the literal trigger.
Here's where it gets really interesting, folks.
Yeah.
For the millisecond, the ball travels toward the sideline.
The entire team just abandons their zonal spaces and instantly jumps into strict man-to-man marking. The sideline basically acts as an extra defender, and the pitch instantly shrinks.
That sounds incredibly risky, but the stats prove it works, right?
Yeah, they do. Bournemouth conceded a league-low 19 fast break shots last year. You can't really win a counterattack if you're instantly swarmed on the sideline.
But doing that for 90 minutes over a grueling, 60-game calendar, the physical toll must be staggering. Does this current squad actually have the engine to survive that?
Well, that brings us to the backroom staff. They are essentially the mechanics keeping this engine from blowing up. Fitness coach Pablo de la Torre is crucial here.
Right. He's been with Iraola for years, hasn't he?
Yeah, his entire job is managing the extreme physical load this specific system demands. But just as crucially, look at assistants Tommy Elphick and Sean Cooper. They're coming in to fix a massive structural vulnerability.
The set pieces. I mean, Liverpool leaked an unacceptable 23 goals from set pieces under Slot last season.
Yeah, because Slot relied on a very passive, rigid zonal marking system on corners. Players were guarding empty space and getting caught ball watching.
Right, while opponents just took running jumps at them.
Exactly. So Cooper is ripping that up to instill the same aggressive man-to-man principles they use in the pressing trap. You don't stand a zone anymore, you attack the man.
So you need personnel who thrive in that kind of aggression.
Which makes total sense of the players primed to level up this season. Take former Bournemouth fullback Milos Kerkez.
Oh yeah, he already operates on Iraola's tactical wavelength and has the stamina to run the touchline.
Right. And then you have Alexis McAllister, who is already a natural pressing machine. Plus, you've got that explosive new 40 million euro signing, Victor Munoz.
Yeah, you inject his pace into that immediate transition the second the trigger trap wins the ball back, and he's just gone.
Exactly. Put them all together in a perfectly timed trigger trap, and the result on the pitch is just pure chaos for the opponent.
So whether you are a diehard fan mapping out tactical boards or you're just tuning in casually on a Sunday, you are about to witness a much more aggressive, frantic, and wildly entertaining Liverpool.
It's going to be a completely different game to watch, for sure.
But that leaves one massive question for you to consider. Iraola's brilliant touchline trap relies on opponents actually trying to build from the back.
Right, it's a huge variable.
Exactly. What happens when a team visits Anfield, packs all 11 players into their own penalty box in a low block, and just boots the ball long? How does a trigger press work when the opponent flat out refuses to pull the trigger?